Hey everyone, it's Jeremy, and we are here with turn 2 of Pokemon Gold, where we're playing Cameron, the photographer, god of Cyanwood City, and we're gonna jump in and see what the turn looks like. Alright, so we have a whole crap ton of proclamations from everyone. I'm not gonna go through all of the prophets. Some of them are pretty funny sometimes, but I'm a little bit on a crunch for time today. I just got back from a trip, so let's look at what actually happened. We had an unexpected event in Cyanwood City. So we do have luck scales, so hopefully this is going to be good. Ooh, yeah, okay, very good. So money can be a little bit of a tight crunch for us in the beginning of the game. So very nice that we got this. That pads out things for us. And oh my god. Suddenly, Venna, the Goldenrod City's Lutadora, appeared at the gates of your fortress and wanted to fight for your cause. This is awesome. This is actually extremely lucky for us. Because Venna, or just a Lutadora, is an extremely good mage. A good researcher, a great leader, a Dominion monster summoner. So one of the reasons why I have gone kind of more of a scales build and definitely gone with luck 3 is because you can get these Lutadors and Lutadoras that are great mages, great commanders, and they are multi-heroes. So you can have many of them. If we get really lucky, we might have a bunch of these running around, so fingers crossed. And hopefully we will also eventually get Chuck, who is a very powerful prophet and extremely powerful leader. So, all right. We have a little bit to look at. We can look at the indies around us now. So at this throne, we have Phantasmal Warriors, Caterpies, Hoots, and Paris. But there's a bunch of them. Probably most of this is going to be Phantasmal Warriors, because when they show up, they tend to be very large blocks. This is good for us, because none of these Pokemon are especially scary. The Hoots can be annoying because they confuse, I believe. But for the most part, these are low-ranking Pokemon that we don't have to worry about too terribly much. That doesn't mean we can take this anytime soon, but that is at least a good sign for us. Okay. We got Farfetch'd, Rattatas, and Pidgeys here. This is actually really good for us for two reasons. The first being that this is relatively weak, and we should be able to take it without too terribly much of an issue. The second thing is that Pidgeys are sacred. So I don't know that we're necessarily going to fort this province or anything like that, but we can probably put a temple on it and recruit a bunch of Pidgeys to supplement our forces. That's definitely something that we're going to be looking at. If we look at, again, our sacreds, the prodigies, they're kind of not the strongest sacreds. That's one of the reasons why we didn't go with a crazy bless in this game. But they do level up to be pretty powerful. And then if we can find sacreds like Pidgeys or Butterfrees or other sacreds, we can, which we have some Caterpies up here, so that's a good sign. Then we can kind of supplement our sacreds with some better options, right? Kind of pad things out. One of the biggest things, right, with our sacreds being the fact that we don't have magic weapons, right? We opted to take the MR Bless because our magic resistance is so incredibly low, right? So we had a tough decision there. MR versus magic weapons. We went with MR, which means we can use Pidgeys and Caterpies and things like that as magic weapon sacred options. Okay, so what are we going to do this turn? We are going to take Chuck's wife. We're going to do a couple things. We're going to set this script up to bless, and then after the blessing, honestly, I don't really care too terribly much what happens. Primarily because if the Prophet wants to spam Heavenly Strike, that's fine, or more likely it's going to spam Sermon of Courage. That's okay because our morale is good on these units, but I find more often than not, because they're so weak protection and hit point wise, their morale is good, but they'll still rout like crazy, so I'm still okay with Sermon of Courage. What we're going to do, though, is we are going to do a little bit of a movement. So these... how many do we have here? These 8 prodigies are going to spawn a shiny Machop, right? So these shiny Machops are going to run out. We have them on a hold and attack closest. They're going to run out in front along with our regular Machops and our Tyrogues up here, right? And the goal here is to lose none of the prodigies, because every battle the prodigies will spawn new Machops. And eventually Machokes and then Machamps if we level them up. So that's the goal here. Everything should be fine. And we're going to go after this far-fetched province because I think it should be fine. Down here we have province with Yanmas and Furrets, and then we have a province with Yanmas, Igglybuffs, and Mr. Mimes. Yanmas can be kind of dangerous because they have multiple ranged attacks, one of which confuses, I believe. Furrets can be dangerous in large numbers because they have Fury Swipes, I want to say, which gives them multiple attacks. And then when you combine Confusion and multiple attacks, because Confusion basically means your units aren't going to be acting the way they should, that can make this kind of dangerous. So I want to hit this province first, and then come back with reinforcements on this province, and then move northward. And this is actually very, very scary. Yanmas, like I said, in large numbers can be kind of a pain in the ass. Mr. Mimes can be terrifying. I don't think Igglybuffs are something to worry about too terribly much, but this is probably going to be... we're going to wait on this. So, we're going to send out this force. We're going to hire... We're going to recruit another leader. So that's going to be our Crush Girls are our best general leaders, right? And then we're actually probably, and I'm going to do this because we got our Lutadora. Normally I would wait to do this, but I'm going to recruit a Black Belt commander because their summon ally is an Eevee. And Eevees level up, they evolve when you have a mage of 3 or more paths in the province with them at the start of the turn. So because I have this Lutadora here, if I start setting this Black Belt on repeat recruitment for Eevees, I'm going to start getting a bunch of... For this, we'll get water and we'll get earth. So the water is actually Vaporeon. And the earth is actually Glaceon. So we're going to get a combination of Vaporeons and Glaceons if I can get more recruitment going. So that'll kind of be the plan there. We want to recruit as many prodigies as we can. That's kind of what we do. Run ourselves down on recruitment points there. It's probably... So this guy does Tyrogues, that's fine. Oh. Nope, we can't do a... Okay. Yeah, we basically just go with whatever the highest thing we can get is afterwards. We want producers, right? We want any of these guys that can level up and produce more Pokemon. Because these guys, if you have them, you're doubling the amount of people that you get, basically. And as long as they stay alive in battle... They respawn. Their summons, their Pokemon are going to be refreshed every single battle that you have. So, it's not too bad. We're going to research with Venna. That's awesome, because we want to get to Construction 2 as quickly as possible. We want to get to... We're going to be very focused on construction because of all of our mages have... Forge bonuses, right? All of them. But our Battle Girl X's have Forge bonus too. So with the Dwarven Hammer, we're gonna reduce things by 4 gems, so we can make a whole bunch of 5 gem items for 1 gem apiece. We're going to try to abuse the crap out of that as much as we can. So we want to get up to construction 2 as soon as possible so that we can start forging owl quills every single turn, 1 a turn or multiple a turn for a while. And speaking of owl quills, we will need air gems, but we found a air gem site up here, so we need to get up there and get that. So we've also found caterpies, hoot hoots, and mareeps. Caterpies are a very big deal because Butterfree is another sacred that we can get. I don't necessarily like this spot for a because it's not very good. Population 4,000, not a very good spot as far as putting a fort down, but we might consider it depending on whether or not we can get to Omicria or not. But the other good thing about this is, and this might change our minds in the long run, is not only are caterpies good, but mareeps are actually secret OP. They're mareeps, not mareeps themselves, but amphiroses are incredibly powerful. And once we get closer to figuring that out, or actually having access to some mareeps, I'll go through why they're really strong. So, we're going to move that. So we're going to move Fly Spy up here. Do we want to go to Omicria, or do we want to go... Let's go beyond Omicria. Let's go up here to 49, so we can try to see what's going on in these areas. And hopefully that's going to be... This was a really good turn for us, right? A money event and a very powerful caster. Very powerful researcher for right now. This is going to be really good. Okay. I think that is probably going to be it for this turn. Is there anything else? So we do notice that there are Triton guards down here. This is actually nice, especially, so I was talking about with the Black Belt Commander, we can get Vaporeons. Vaporeons are aquatic, right? And we are on the coast, so we do have access to our Poliwag recruit. You can't get these unless you're on the coast. And we have access to our swimmer recruit, which you can't get unless you're on the coast. So we could actually maybe break into water and fight against Atlantis. That's something I'm willing to consider, especially if I get some good water mages going. Our swimmer is not the best water mage in the world. Has a 50% random, so we could get up to 2 water, but... with things like the Luchadoras and high forge bonuses and things like that, we can make like water bracelets and a bunch of underwater gear really easily. So we might look at... I don't want to say this, right? Because the Atlantis player is in the game to kind of like see how balanced vanilla is versus the Pokemon mod. It might be an opportune thing for us to consider going pretty hard against Atlantis, but we'll see. That would mean diverting a whole lot of production into Poliwags and then leveling those Poliwags up, which is not something we're going to be focusing on right now, but depending on... Construction 2 is something we're absolutely going to go early. We might just rush straight up to Construction 5 to get Rock High Schools, because this means we're going to be able to gain a whole lot of experience every single turn on a lot of our Pokemon, which means we can evolve our Pokemon very quickly. If we do not feel threatened, this is probably something that we will go for very early, because it'll give us level 4 construction, but it will also give us Rock High School. Is there anything else crazy going on? I don't think so. I think that's it. We're going to hopefully win this fight. 47 versus... The Pidgeys... The Rattatas really aren't a worry. The Pidgeys aren't too much of a concern. If it's a bunch of Farfetcheds, we might run into some problems. Hopefully it won't be that big of a deal. I'm actually going to set the Tyrogues. We'll set them up a little ways. And we're going to put them on attack rearmost, and we'll put the Machops on attack closest. So the Machops will come in. We'll put everything out to the side because we do want our shiny Machops that are going to spawn from the prodigies to take the brunt of the. We want anything that's expendable to take the brunt. So that should be it. And I'll see you all next time. Peace.